What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about how cellular trail cameras can actually ruin your property, and this is a legit thing. So years ago, I've been running trail cameras for like 15 years, but I've been running cell cams for probably about 10 years now. And what happens is these cell cams make a clicking sound, and I'm not 100% sure the specifics of it, but it's the lens in the front, and when it transitions from like a lighted situation to a darker situation, that lens comes over and it makes that clicking sound. And when this happens, deer hear it, guys. If we can hear it, the deer can hear it. And cell cams are literally like the greatest thing, right, to some people, and it's an addiction to try to get a lot of them, and you put a lot of them on your property. And what happens is the deer can hear this, and it will quickly make your deer avoid that area. I've seen it time after time after time, and I've known this for a long time, but never really paid attention to it over the years, because like I said, cell cams are an addiction. You get the picture of a buck that you're trying to hunt or whatever. It's exciting, so you kind of avoid things in a certain way when you're excited about them. But the truth of the matter is that cell cams can be the greatest thing to your hunting property and to your hunting success, but also the worst thing you could probably do, because we don't just buy one cell cam, we buy 2 or 3 or 10 or 20, right? And we put them on a property, and we put them all over the place, and they make these clicking noises. So we see this when a deer walks in front of that camera, and all of a sudden they're walking this way, the camera takes a picture, and bam, they look straight at it. They hear this clicking sound, and then they see this structure on the tree, and they associate that because it's not natural, right? If we stay out of the woods stays natural, in a natural environment to the deer. We start getting in there, we hang tree stands, we hang these box blinds on the edge of fields, and we put these trail cameras up, right? And they start making these clicking sounds. And I'm going to post a video in here once I get this camera to make this clicking sound. Hopefully the camera will pick it up and you guys will hear what I'm talking about. And I'm not picking on any specific brand, because I've ran almost every brand cell cam you can think of. This just happens to be the one that I have, but it's a serious thing that spooks these deer, because everything we do in the woods is not natural to the deer. Like I said, tree stands and cell cams and box blinds on the edge of fields where they stand out like a sore thumb. All these things are not cool to the deer, right? They see these and they associate that with danger, because they see people in the hunting, they get arrows slung at them. You put cameras in the woods and you go to check your card. Every time you go in, you may spook a deer. So these things are real, and it does spook deer. So what can we do to minimize this? There's 2 main things. Number 1 is hang your trail cameras higher. Obviously, the higher you hang them, the less of a chance the deer has to hear this clicking sound, right? The second, what I usually do is I'll take a stick, like a 3-foot ladder stick, in with me, tree stand stick, and I'll climb up that, and then I'll reach up as high as I can and mount the camera and angle it down a little bit. Okay, that's going to minimize that noise because it's up higher away from the deer. Okay, is it 100%? No, it's not 100%. They could still hear that, but it's less of a chance. The second thing is deer trails where you're putting your cameras at, okay, or food plots or whatever it is, mainly deer trails. Okay, if the deer trail is going this way, you put your camera looking across the trail, not with the trail. Reason being is when deer walk down that trail, they're not looking straight at the camera, right? Or less of a if you mount it high, there's less of a chance of a deer seeing it. If you mount it across the trail, they're not looking, they're walking this way, so they're not looking into the camera. That's going to minimize them being able to see that structure on the tree, so it's going to minimize it. I think the best thing to do is, regardless if you want to face it down the trail or across the trail or on a food plot or whatever it is, hang that camera high. There's systems out there now where you can mount the camera up higher. I just like to use a ladder stick for now, and minimize your trail camera use on a certain property. If you have cell cams, minimize it. You don't need a dozen cameras on one property to catch all the deer movement. If you put them in strategic spots with travel routes, maybe a mock scrape or a food plot, you're going to get a chance to pretty much see every deer or buck in the area. And I will say this too, you know, if you don't really care about the clicking sound or whatever, put it anywhere you want and you're going to get does and bucks, and you may even get a mature buck that really doesn't hear it or doesn't spook them. But there are those times where if you're trying to hunt that bigger mature buck, a lot of times they hear these clicking sounds, and once you get a picture of them, you do not see them return, or they may return 2-3 weeks or a month down the road, or you may never see them in that area again. They avoid things just like they avoid tree stands. You know, I've seen a guy, you know, hunt a piece of property and he puts a tree stand up and he's hunting this travel route, and the deer walk past it, they see him in a stand. Next thing you know, a week later, they're 50 yards further away, 50 yards further away. They avoid these things, guys. So the more we can leave things alone, obviously the better. But you know, trail cams are a great thing. If it's something that you want to look into, you know, by all means, have fun with it, look into it, but just be a little bit more cautious and a little bit more precise on how and where you're mounting your trail cameras, and you'll have better success, guys, I can promise you. For more information, guys, give this video a watch right there, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I appreciate any feedback. Have a good day.